you for subscribing. Thank you for being with us in our episodes. And I'm here with my colleague who is going to introduce herself. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Presi Kanyesije, and I'll be co-hosting with Prudence. Thank you so much. Today we are going to talk about preterms. The research has it that in Uganda, 14% of babies are born preterm. So our today's guest, Madame Claire, is going to take us through preterm. We first need to understand what preterm means, and then after we've understood what it means, we shall dive into the real topic for today. So thank you so much, Claire, and you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Prosi. Like they've already introduced me. I'm called Claire Natwongera. I'm a mother to a premature who made 5 good years. Yeah. So I was there, and what I'm going to talk about, I understand it, I've been through it, and we've been successful, and she's very healthy and growing. So a preterm baby simply means, like in simple terms, it simply means someone who is born before the real time. Like a baby is supposed to be born at 9 months, but you give birth to that baby before. Yeah. Normally it's after 7 months, 8 months, 6 months. Those are the ones that normally survive according to research. But others can also survive. I've seen it over the internet, and there are very many who survive with 5 months, 4 months, and it's a miracle. Yes. And truth be told, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job emotionally, physically, psychologically, financially. It's not really an easy task. So mine was born at 7 months with just 1 kilogram. Just 1 kilogram. And normally, most of the time when they are born, they cut, like they go back. So she's born at 1 kilogram, but they go back to grams now. Like 800 grams, 900 grams, and then they can pick up later. But mine did not. So mine was born at 7 months. I had issues. I can show you the photos of what happened, or how I was looking like. I wasn't really told it was preeclampsia, like they say. It was something else that the doctors also didn't understand, because my baby was not feeding. My baby reached a time and she wasn't feeding. She started cutting weight. She was at 1.6. The following week I went, I found her at 1 kilogram, and they had to remove the baby immediately. So instead of adding, she was cutting. But before, that was a complicated pregnancy. After a miscarriage. It was a complicated pregnancy after miscarriage, and it disturbed me so much because I had hormonal imbalance. The doctor explained to me that when I got that miscarriage, my brain switched off. So the brain was not producing the hormone that was supposed to protect the baby or take along the baby through the pregnancy or hold the baby in the uterus. So it was always a threatened miscarriage. Because I first got bleeding within. I wasn't seeing anything outside, but inside I was bleeding. So I started on medication at around 3 weeks. So I was getting Primulot N injections. I got for 17 good weeks to help me get the hormones that can protect the baby. For 17 good weeks, I would get 2 injections every week.
How old was the pregnancy then?
At 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. That's when I started getting. So I reached a time, and I would not go to the hospital. I would take the medicine, because I had seen the nurses what they do, and inject myself.
So was it prescribed?
Yeah, it was prescribed. I would buy it from a pharmacy, from Frieka, but time for going to the hospital and coming back, I would do it myself.
So it was identified as a high-risk pregnancy?
Yes, it was a high-risk pregnancy. So I would inject myself, and I did almost all the 17 of them on this one, because I would use this one to drive. So I would use this.
Inject on the thigh?
Yeah, I would inject on the thigh, because normally they're supposed to inject either here or you're behind. But I can't inject on my behind and I can't inject here. So I would use here. Some nurse identified for me the area where I can inject.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor one day and he told me I was putting on a dress, like, let me check you. So when I did this, he saw the whole thigh, dark, black, bruised. He asked me, what have you been doing? I told him I inject myself here. No, we don't continue that. So now I started on another medication, a different medication at 17 weeks. I started and I think I took for like 2 weeks and it failed. So I went back to Primrose N. I was doing pessaries and that is the most expensive medication I was on. Because Primrose N, by that time, 5 years back, one tin like this, because remember I would consume 4 of them, was costing 100. Yes, I would consume 4 of them in a week. So one was costing 100. So I reached a time and they increased the dose, and now I was taking 6 of them in a week. So I was spending 600,000 per week for 17 weeks. And then I stopped for like 2 weeks and then continued again. So it was so the doctor at some point realized we don't know what had happened. We don't know what was happening, because I remember the time I was going to theater, I had like 4 doctors. They wanted to see what was wrong, because there is something they call placenta abrasion, smile placenta, something like that. So they thought maybe the placenta had issues, which was not the case. They kept on wondering what was causing the baby not to feed. So they took me, brought out the baby, but before they take you, they give you medication for helping the baby grow the lungs. So they gave me one in the evening, they gave me another the following day. And that was like the worst day of my life. That was the most scaring day of my life, because I was scared I was going to lose this one as well. So I went to theater when the whole of my body was shaking, like I was literally shaking. Even I think the intestines were shaking. So I couldn't wait for them to bring out the baby for me to hear the baby's out, because I was awake. I asked the doctor, can't I get full anesthesia? And he's like, no, you cannot. It will affect the baby. So I had to get half of it so that the baby can come out when it's active. So I got, and they brought out the baby. Surprisingly, the 1 kilogram cried. It scored 9 out of 10. It was amazing. So now I came back to life and I was hopeful. So I waited. They got me out of theater. I asked the doctor what was wrong. He's like, sincerely, I didn't see anything wrong. Even the other doctors couldn't tell what was wrong with me. But remember, I had all swollen. It was not about pressure, because I didn't have that pressure. They would measure the pressure and it's normal. And they wondered what was happening. They couldn't.
They didn't know the reason.
So they didn't know the reason as to why I got that early extraction of the child. So the child comes out. She scores 9 out of 10. They take her to the incubator, to the nursery. And I thought it was a baby, because I had had a baby before. I knew how babies look like. I thought it was a baby. So I was all eager to see my child. So I went, rested. But in the evening, after theater, because I was gotten out of theater like at around midday, in the evening after theater, I started swelling up.
The whole body?
The whole body. Even my eyes could not see. I was all swollen. Now they started managing the swelling up. I don't know what they did, but I slept off and woke up the following day.
And the swelling had gone down?
Yeah, it had gone down. They had managed it, because I think if I had stayed awake, maybe I would have gotten pressure and died. I don't know, because I was so worried.
What was for swelling?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Shall have doctors explain that?
Maybe, because I'm not a doctor, Cynthia, I can't explain. So
yeah.
What were the challenges that you faced having premature?
I'm coming to that. Now, I tell the doctors, like the nurses that were coming to my room, Please remove the catheter. I want to go and see my child.
Oh.
Thinking I have a child, reaching there, it was very small, like a rat, very small, very small. It couldn't even fit in the clothes, the smallest clothes. We would put the clothes and then put salt tape.
Me as an interviewer, I'm not supposed to cry.
Really tiny. The baby didn't have private parts. Like, you see how ladies have private parts? They were not there. She didn't have a bum bum. I asked the nurse, is my child normal? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't see private parts. Yeah, like, she's normal. They're going to grow. They hadn't developed. They're going to grow. So I saw my baby grow like the private parts forming, the bum bum forming. I witnessed that. And you were asking about the challenge. The first challenge in there, you're in that nursery. You yourself, you're sick. You have a wound. You're supposed to be nursing yourself. But the other side is too tight. Like, you have to be there, do kangaroo. You have to express breast milk to feed that child in a tube. They feed in a tube. Then you're worried. Is it going to come out? Because every time you go there and you ask, the baby that was there, what happened? They're like, oh, she died, she passed on. You're like, as we were in there, because we spent like 2 weeks at case, as we were in there, they brought a child who was 800 grams. The child failed to pick up temperatures. They covered the child in a polythene bag. It is so heartbreaking. They covered the child in a polythene bag to pick up. She failed and passed on. Then there's some other one who came with twins, and then the other one started bleeding from the nose, and one of them passed on. You're like, maybe mine is next, maybe mine is next. But she progressed. We left the hospital and went home. When we were okay, but we had issues of constipation. They normally get constipated. They have to do enemas, they have to do all that. And the feeding is through the tube.
At what stage did you go back home? How old was the baby then?
The baby had gained it was 1.2.
Oh,
1.2.
Like a 200
like
grams.
a 200
Had she already been 9 months or still?
No. They discharged us after 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks.
It was after 2 weeks and 2 days. Yeah, we were discharged because she was...
Picking up.
Yeah, she was okay. They told me what to do. We were doing kangaroo. And at that time,
What's
you're
kangaroo?
not... Kangaroo is where you undress, then you put the baby here, they tie you, or you sleep with it to get the warmth. Yeah, so you tie here, the baby. So you're doing kangaroo, but you have your backache, you have your wound. And then I was someone who didn't allow anything to be done on my child when I'm not present.
Yeah.
Let it be washing the bottle, let it be feeding, I'll do it myself. So I got so broken, so tired. Later I got to learn that the nurses who can come and help you, but then I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. So we were discharged, we go home. When we are okay, she's progressing. So after like 3-4 days, some people had come to see me. From the sitting room, I just moved like up to the doorway, came back to the bedroom. Coming back, I found my baby purple.
Purple?
Yes. Like the fingers, I had stayed with her, I knew her. I found the fingers had changed, the feet had changed. She was like, she's not breathing. I called some nurse because I had gotten contacts of nurses at case.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the phone, called the nurse. She was called Tabia. We used to call her Msawo Tabia. So I got the phone, called her. Like, my baby's not breathing. She's purple. All the fingers are like this and this. She's like, get the baby. Muzunguze what? Like up.
Okay.
Then put her down and wait for her to breathe. I'm like, she's not breathing again. I again got the baby, did this. On pressing her down, she did.
Oh my God, she had stopped breathing.
Yes. Okay. So now she tells me, call the ambulance. Meanwhile, I had called everyone. People at home had called everyone. Call the ambulance, rush. Don't come back this side. Go to Dr. Mugaru. Dr. Mugaru is a specialist in prematures.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, at case they refused to deliver my baby on a Saturday, waiting for him to come on a Sunday, like he was supposed to come to case on a Sunday. So they refused to deliver simply because he was not there. And he would always come and check on us, and then goes back to his hospital in Cheban. So he told me, do not come here, just go and look for Dr. Mugaru the other side. Because it was during the day, he goes the other side in the night.
Okay.
So we rushed. We rushed in that some friend came first before the ambulance, because the ambulance was from doctors. But the friend came first. We sat in the friend's car, and she put double indicators. So we found when the ambulance was sloping to my home, but we were in the other car. She drove. She drove past the bypass. I think she would have even knocked. We reached there and we were like, the baby. The nurses picked the baby from us and took her away. Meanwhile, I was all crying. I knew I had lost also that one. So when we reached, they took the baby away, first worked on her, then later, that's when they let me see the baby. So they admitted us. Real expenses come in. Prematures are expensive in that prematures forget to breathe. There is a condition called apnea. They forget to breathe. So you have a medication called caffeine that you introduce in their milk for them to keep
breathing.
Yeah, to remember to breathe. So that medication is expensive. I think the time we are buying over 1 gram is around 120, 130. Now just imagine you have to give for like close to a month or more than a month. By the time the baby, let's say if you've given birth at 7 months, by the time the baby attains the 9 months, the 2 months, the 2 more months, you're giving that medication.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So they admitted us to the hospital, and now real expenses began. We stayed in that hospital for like a month, a whole month and 2 weeks. And meanwhile, I was hiding away from people because I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want people to know where I am. I think you also didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there. They diagnosed the baby. Nothing is wrong. Nothing they can tell is wrong. The baby gets temperatures up to 40. Remember, a premature is supposed to be covered for warmth. Now this one, they were opening.
Yeah.
She would stay open like all the time. Open all the time. I'm like, God, what is this? They checked, they removed blood samples and checked everywhere. For prematures, they draw blood samples from here.
From the
You do not want to see that. From here, that's where they draw the samples from. They reached a time that they can't prick anywhere else. They would put the cannulas on the head. So they checked, nothing. They checked, nothing. They did all tests. Meanwhile, the baby was continuing to do what? To vomit whatever she would take, then the temperatures would not go down. They use everything, no temperatures going. We spent there a month, a whole month. As they brought in my other child also for admission. Now I had 2.
In the hospital.
In the hospital. So we reached a time and we were tired of it, because I remember I almost left my child in the hospital, like abandoning the child. It was too much for me. So some friend came to see me. She's like, she called when she had reached, actually she's the godmother to that child. She called when she had reached down, like, I've reached here, do you want anything? I'm like, now this one is going to find me moving out. And she will ask me where I'm going. Let me sit. I wait for her to go, then I also follow her. She sat the whole day, she never left. She sat there for the whole day and she never left. We stayed there banging. I'm like, when is this person going? Because I had my in-law there. I wanted to abandon the child with my sister-in-law, and then I move away. Maybe for a day or 2, I go and rest somewhere, because it was too much for me.
I understand.
So at some day when the doctor was also tired, I think he was about to discharge us or send us somewhere else, he brought like 3 consultants. They came, checked the baby, looked at the baby, asked me how I was, then they moved out. You know how people can move out and then stand outside the door and then start talking? They moved out and started talking. They were discussing my child when I was hearing them. So the other doctor that I was clinging on, like you have hopes, all the hopes on that doctor is saying, I've failed.
Oh my God.
I've failed, I've done this and that, and I've failed. Because they even did lumbar puncture on the child, like they got samples, the fluids from the back. That was the most terrible day for me. I followed them. They told me to say, I said, I want to see what is being done. I reached there. The needle they put, and then there is a saying, there is that misconception of when they do lumbar puncture on the child's mind will either fail to walk, or there is some deformity, or there is something they disorganize. And then I was waiting for that to happen to my child. So that day I couldn't even stand. They brought me back to the ward. I was shaking. I couldn't stand. I was crying. They did lumbar puncture. They didn't find anything because they thought the infection is on the brain. They didn't find anything. So as they were discussing out there, one of the doctors said, you know what? Let's try and give her the most strong antibiotic. It is called meropenem. Meanwhile, my husband was always waiting for that call. He would rarely come to the hospital. Was always waiting for that call. Omwana afude.
Men are always cowards.
Omwana afude.
Yeah.
So they came back inside. They told me, you know, Mama Eliana, we are going to give this baby the strongest antibiotic and we see how she reacts. I'm like, okay. I had lost hope. Like, okay. So how much? They were like, let's go and write a prescription. They bring it, then you send for it. We don't have it in the hospital. So we sent for it at Friek. I sent a WhatsApp message. The dad got it, and we gave it. They gave it to the border to bring it immediately. So they put her on that in the night. The following morning, the temperatures went down. The following day, temperatures went down, and you would see her. She's lively. On the fourth day, the baby normalized. And we were good. They observed us for like 2 days, and then we were sent home. And ever since then, she never went back.
Wow.
Like the progress now became normal. She started walking at like holding on 2 chairs or stuff at 7 months. At 1 year, she was walking. It's a miracle. She was walking. But sweetheart, the psychological torture.
I know.
The physiological torture, because you don't think about yourself. You feel you hate yourself. You feel you should be there. You should be left alone.
You can begin.
Then
I can have a friend. She also had a premature, but she told me that she reached her time and she didn't even want visitors home to hold her baby.
Yeah, that's true. Me, I would chase away the nurses. You come, enter the door. Come straight to my child. I'll tell you, never come back here. Never come back here. Because they were literally they're supposed to sanitize before they touch that baby, because the baby is delicate. So you touch the door where somebody else touched. You don't know who touched. You come straight to my baby. I tell you, never come back here. You come and tell me to feed instead of you feeding the child because I've expressed the milk. I'm tired. I feel my head can't think anymore. You come and tell me. I'll tell the supervisor. That person should not come back. Because I mean,
that's what
I'm going to pay for the services. Then I'm not getting support. So I would tell them, don't come back here, and I would mean it. And actually, they always feared the ward I was in. They would say, the woman in blue too is tough. Well, the woman in blue too is tough. They all knew us. Because I called the supervisor at some point and reported whoever was not appropriate. And they never came back to my ward. They never. So time reached and we went home. So as we were celebrating our second birthday, we took cake there to cut with them, and the doctor told them, do you see why this woman was always chasing you? Like, it was now time for joy.
For joy, for celebration.
Yeah, but mothers to preemies or mothers to prematures, it is really the hardest thing to go through. Leave alone these pregnancies. You don't have the child. The child is inside. Yes, you're managing. You're having a complicated pregnancy, but it's not as torturing as seeing that 1 kilogram. And you're expecting any time it's going to go. Because it's not guaranteed.
So how can the society, the family members and friends support mothers who are having preterm babies?
actually, mothers to preterms need the most support, if I may say. Because first of all, emotionally, you're not stable.
No.
You aren't. Physically, you aren't stable. You would not even want to go and bathe.
You're depressed.
Yeah, you have depression. You don't want to go and bathe. You can spend a day without bathing. You can spend a day not leaving the baby's side.
Because what if you go and she forgets to breathe?
And then you do not want to see people. Because everyone looks at your child and then they're like, because I'll take the child for immunization and you're seeing everyone is peeping. Everyone wants to see what you're carrying. Because they are literally small, very small. You're carrying a child as if it's about what? And everyone is looking at you. So we have that torture also. Like you're scared, everyone is looking at you. Everyone is thinking. Then we have this African setting of Yazadama Wano. Like they say, if you give,
they'll say different things,
and people even talk about you when you're hearing. So we really need support. Everyone needs to know that yes, it can happen to anyone. You can give birth pretermly. That child can come out pretermly. It's not guaranteed that you're going to go up to 9 months.
Yeah, of course, we're looking at the 14% of the babies in Uganda that are being born preterm. That's a big number. So meaning everyone is at risk. Of giving birth to a preterm baby.
Yes, because my first child was normal. It was a normal birth and normal delivery. And now the second child, or actually the third one, because in between there is a miscarriage. The third child comes out like that. So you really need support. People should stop talking about others or mocking others. Like, you need the most support. Then also, in Uganda, I think we need to have known companies that hire out those nurses, trained nurses that can help. Because you can trust a nurse, but it is hard for you to trust a relative who is at home or a maid who is at home. So you find yourself doing everything and it breaks you. It's really breaking. Yeah, because you reach a time and you're even broken. You break down and cry. They find you crying. So you need that support. As for the financial support, I do not know. I do not know. Because I started up something to help mothers, but I do not have financial support from up, but within ourselves, we mobilize ourselves and help someone who is in need. So far I have nurtured 9 mothers. 9 of them. I've supported them, and all the kids are alive. They're okay and living. So we need that support. The government needs to come in and support these mothers to preterms. To look out for them, because it's hard. And
even train mothers on how to care for the preterm babies.
And everybody else, whether father, mother, or any woman out there needs that training. You can never know when it's coming. You can never know what is coming. So everyone else needs to be trained about that.
Okay, so
for the financial bit, I cannot talk about it, because the whole month that we spent in the hospital, you're eating, feeding, hospital bills are coming in. Medicine. Then they tell you, now do this test. Now this test has been done from this lab. Tomorrow you're doing this other test. It's draining. It's draining.
Must be draining. So people outside there should always look out for when a mother gives birth to a preterm. That's the most moment that you really, really need you. So even like partners, husbands, when you're tired, your husband can come in. But men tend to be cowards and they always run away from such situations.
And they fear those kids. I remember when my husband went to the nursery the first day, he came out crying. Like, he couldn't tell.
Me, I've been here all the time.
Then he would peep at the child like, Jali. Like, they are scared. Not like they don't want to hold them, but they are scared. Because even with normal birth, they tend to fear them until they are like 2 months, 3 months to hold them. They think they are going to break them or something. But they need to come in and overcome that fear and help the mothers. Because I think I would trust the father more than a maid.
Exactly.
I would trust the father more than my sister-in-law. Yes. So they also need to overcome that fear and come in
and support their women.
Yes.
Because a woman cannot manage all that burden alone.
No.
Actually, that's why they're your partners. And men, I don't know.
They say that women are strong. That's what men say, that women are strong.
Even
manage.
Men are strong. They are just living their responsibility. Yeah.
And trust me, by the time you come out of that, you can never be the same. You're never the same.
Yeah.
Because for me, they told me my child, until she turns 5, that's when we can guarantee everything.
That she's a child.
Guarantee what?
Like they can get pneumonia, they can get anything, and it affects them.
Is that true?
That yes, like they are delicate. They are not like these other normal kids, like the pace they grow at. Then they are delicate. Then there are possibilities of so many diseases because. Remember, they hadn't developed
fully. Yeah,
their lungs were not developed. I told you that my baby's private parts were not developed.
Yeah,
their brain is not really developed, like ready to come out. Like almost everything apart from these physical things that you see, the feet, the legs, and
the structure.
Yes, but internally they haven't developed well. So anytime she or he can get pneumonia and you lose the child. They can get an infection on the brain and then you find they have these disabilities. Actually, they say most preterms get disabilities. They say the highest percentage of preterms get disabilities. But we thank God, we came out victors.
We really thank God.
Yeah.
So what are some of the stigma, the stigma that surrounds like preterm babies?
One of them is that I just told you, that like when they are still little, everyone looks at the child as if you gave birth to a muzimu. You did something and it's haunting you through the child.
Especially those relatives from the village.
Yes. Then within yourself, you're always scared. That child, you don't treat them as if they are normal. You're always treating them as if they are delicate. When they fall sick, you get depressed, you get stressed. When something happens to them, you feel you are affected. Then even in the family, the people will say, I can't touch the baby. They have their reasons, but they will still not carry the baby. As in, when a mother when someone comes to visit
avoiding, I think, family gatherings and all that.
So you have to avoid them because everyone wants to look at the baby like, is that a baby? Hey. They won't tell you, but you read from their faces and their reactions.
I think that stigma is there when they are still little. When they are grown, it's not. Doesn't really show because they look like other kids.
Claire, while you are at the hospitals, were the doctors helpful to your situation? How were they treating you with a baby?
To me, I think I'm always friendly with the people I meet. I don't know, I think I connect easily with them because first of all, my doctor was the most supportive person I've ever had. Dr. Kaiga, God bless you. Kaiga Herbert, I would go there, I would visit the hospital every week. I would do scans every week to see the progress of the baby. Because remember, I had bleeding internally. So they would want to see, has it gone, has it increased, is it decreasing? So every week I would be in the hospital to do a scan and to see a doctor. And Dr. Kaiga would pray for me every week that I would go in. He would hold my hands and pray for me. He really prayed for me, and he would scratch his head to see what can I give this one so that this can be this can like the baby can survive. And so by the time he reached a point of telling me, you know what, we cannot keep this anymore. We either have to save you or the baby. And me, I wanted to have my baby at full term. I didn't want my baby to be removed. I asked him, isn't there an alternative? Isn't there an
option?
He's like, Claire, no, we've done everything and this is it. You go think about it. Come back tomorrow. When you prepared, pack your suitcases and come. That night I did not sleep.
I know, you can't sleep.
I cried my eyes out. I went when my eyes were now swollen. He's like, now you're creating more problems. So I went back to the hospital and I was admitted. The nurses in there, people always complain about nurses, but I didn't see. Actually, all of them, most of them were my friends. Until now, we still communicate. I send them photos of their child. The way they handle the kids, you would even get scared, as in your heart can come out, because for them they don't have fear. They will lift the child, then they will put the whatever, that the tube, the nose tube.
They are used to handling.
They are used to handling, and you see them handling like it is okay, it is normal. And they tell you when you handle like this, that's when it's going to stop. Don't be like you're scared of the child. It's your child. So I had nurses there. They would come in. I would observe what they are doing. I would always be keen. And they were good. The nurses at case were good. The doctors at case were good. I never had any problems. The problem I had it with this side where I went for an admission for a whole month. And it wasn't like they were behaving unprofessionally. It wasn't like they were rude to me or anything. And I think I was also somehow disturbed that I would critically see everything, observe everything, and
you don't want anything to go wrong on your
being
baby.
careful, and you're like, I'm already stressed, and now this one is doing this. So, but they were also friendly. We had a Msao called Sarah. That Sarah she would come and always tell me kabos, and I would always laugh. I don't know whether they would send her to come and make me laugh, but she would come, sit there, feed the girl. Mama Given, how is Given? Given is fine. Wala baka kana. Kagenda kula kakusamba omugere yani. What is going to kick
And
me?
look at Eliana right now.
She calls me by my name. Yeah, she calls me Claire. And when you ask her, why do you call me Claire? Isn't it your name? She will ask you, isn't it your name? So Sarah would always come and make me laugh, make me smile. She also told me she had a brother who was a premature. And then the mother would always tell them, Omwana temumukwatako, Omwana mumukolesha. She's like, Omwana became Omwana at home. She would just be like those stories to keep me off, like keep my thoughts off. God bless her, God bless Sarah. Even the nurses there, apart from those who would come and I chase them, and those who were rude and arrogant, and was also rude and arrogant, so we would collide. So, apart from that, I think they really handled us, and we bless God for that.
Did you have supportive friends, supportive family?
I chased them away.
You chased them away?
Yeah, I didn't want them to know where I was. I didn't want them to know what I was going through. I didn't want anyone to feel pity, like they're pitying me. Someone comes and sees your baby, they're crying. Or someone comes and sees your baby, then they're going to go out there and start talking. So there were only 3 people who knew where I was. Only 3. The rest of them that would call me, I would tell them, Nagena mchalo, ndi mchalo. I'm not around. So Eliana's godmother, who was always there with me, by the way, I don't know, by instinct, I think she would sense I'm not fine. Because whenever I would be admitted in the hospital, I go to the hospital and I'm arrested, like the pressure is not normal, you would see her show up or call me, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the hospital. You slept there without telling anyone. Because I would go there, get arrested, they're like, you can't drive back. And they make me sleep there. So I would go back either the following day or after. And you would see her come. I don't know. I think by instinct, even on the day I was admitted, she called me. Because I was ready to face the theater alone. If I die, the doctor was going to announce. I think he had called my husband because he was not around. The doctor was going to announce to whoever is concerned that this person has died with her child. I never informed anyone.
Why didn't you inform people? You didn't want?
I was tired. First of all, what I was going through with the whole process. Secondly, I had had a miscarriage for the previous pregnancy of twins. I had lost them. So that whole torture and trauma, and it's called depression, I think, it pushed me away from people. So you would even call my phone, I look at it, rings until it ends. That is if I've not made it fly, as in put it in flight mode. Yeah. So I would look at it. I would go to groups and see people talking, discussing, and I'm like, now what are these?
What are they talking?
Why are they even happy? Like you feel that sadness and anger. And
you hate yourself.
A few people knew where I was.
Yeah.
So about supportive friends and all that, I wouldn't say it was really much. Olivia was there for me. She was always around. She would come almost every day. She would bring food. You're tired of hospital food, she brings something different. She's there. She comes and bangs kabozi. She runs away from work, comes to see the child, to see you people. She was the only person I think that was all over.
All the time.
All the time. And there's a reason as to why she's Eliana's godmother.
Yeah.
Because she did much.
I know.
The rest of them I did not want to know.
You did not even
and
tell
I didn't
people.
want them to know where I was. I think people got to know on Eliana's first birthday that I even had a child. And a lot of people came for that first birthday because they thought I was lying. When I had that pregnancy, remember it was a complicated pregnancy, I would get in the car, go to work, come back, get home.
Even the injections you are taking yourself, they would definitely depress you. Yeah.
I was taking injections myself. But thank God for my manager at work. When I lost the other pregnancy, he understood what I was going through. So he told me, one day at a time. If you wake up and you can't come, just send me a text. We shall manage whatever you're supposed to manage. So that's how it was. Because I remember I was on bed rest for a whole month. Bed, toilet, no other movement. Bed, toilet. Even the food would find me in bed. Bed, toilet for a whole month, 30 days. 30 days. I would be awake during the day, I would be awake during the night, but nothing to do, nowhere to go. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. So it's so disturbing. If you have a complicated pregnancy, those people need support. If you have a premature, those people need support. A lot of it.
Okay, so which are some of the hospitals that handle preterms? Because I don't think every hospital is capable of handling a preterm baby.
Yeah, not every hospital, but currently, okay, me I was handled at Case. They have a neonatal section, which is good. The nurses are there full time. The nurse is stationed inside there full time. They're observing those machines. They're observing every movement the child makes. The feeding time, we find them feeding, running up and down. They're inside there. So God bless them for that heart or for loving that job, because not everyone will. So we have Mulago. Currently we have Mulago Women's Specialized Hospital. It's the best, I think. We thank the government for that. Currently it's the best. I've been there before. I've nurtured a mother. I've taken through a mother, as in I've had to support a mother who gave birth from there, and the baby was a premature. We've gone there for celebrations for World Premature Day. They always hold them there. But the facility is good, and it can hold a big number of babies. Not like now we are out of space. We refer you, no. It is there, it can hold. And then there they even have a kangaroo room, which was not there at Case, because you would come sit in the chair, hold your baby, because you're not allowed to take the baby out of the nicho. You hold your baby there, you're feeding your back. But the other side at Mulago, they even have the beds. They have a room special for kangaroo. Like mothers go there, the beds are warmed, they have warmers. It's really a good facility. So I would advise people to go there. It's not the other Mulago that we used to have. So we thank the government for that at least.
It's improved.
It's improved now. It's good. The capacity is good. It can carry a good number. And everything is there. I can't say almost, but everything is there because I've visited the hospital. I've been there before. I've seen what is there.
Okay.
Yeah. And the nurses at Mulago, they are lacking, I will say it. Some are rude, others are good. Yeah. So they need to improve on that.
They should check themselves.
Yes, they need to check themselves. Some are rude, others won't mind.
You put on, after all that stress you're going through,
Yeah.
you meet a rude nurse.
Like you've given birth, like how I was asking, is my child's private parts going to grow? Just imagine someone had given me a cold shoulder or replied me in a rude manner.
Yeah.
How you feel?
I know.
You already have that burden to carry. You already have the financial burden to carry. And then you're in pain. You're not comforted with that. Because me, where I was, the doctor told me, if the breast milk can't come, it is well. You're not going to squeeze blood out of your breast. Because remember, you're emotionally tortured. You have that stress. You cannot produce that milk. So I would produce like the milk they feed after 2 hours. For the 2 hours, then the next 2 hours they are giving cow and egg. They are giving something else. So it needs those supportive doctors. If someone assures you that, no, you can't do it, it is okay, don't stress. You feel reassured. You feel at peace. You're like, oh, he understands me. Oh, he understands what I'm going through. You calm down. But the other side, they will tell you, we need milk. We need breast milk. They cannot live without breast milk.
Are you serious? Okay.
There is that time when you can't produce enough milk. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're in ICU. They brought you and then removed the baby and you blacked out. The other side, you don't even know what is happening, but the baby needs milk. So I think we need milk banks, breast milk banks in Uganda more. Currently, we have one at in Zambia, but it's not enough. Because me personally, I donated to a child. He was called Chisache. It was a boy. We found him in the niche. No, he found us in the niche, and the mother was in ICU because she couldn't recover from whatever she was suffering from. So she stayed in ICU for like 3 days, and I had to donate breast milk. But after she recovered, but I think we also need that.
Yeah.
We need to have somewhere that is specialized, and it's a breast milk bank where you can donate and it is kept or distributed to some people, because those kids need the breast milk as much as we give cow and get, but breast milk is key. Okay. And there is a time when you find you cannot produce that breast milk, whether you want or not, whether you drink what or not. If the mind is not stable, you cannot produce that breast milk. But if there is some donor and they are checked and it's fine, then they can donate.
Yeah, and I'm sure mothers will be willing to donate. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing us to the world of preterm. There's a lot we didn't know. Basically, like, it's an emotional journey.
Very much.
And psychological draining for the mothers. So we'd actually call upon the fathers also to always support their women. If your wife is going through that, this is also your child, so you should always support them, because after them, of course, you're the one, you're one person, so this is your child. So I would urge men, always stop being cowards, running away from tough moments,
tough times.
They like running away from tough times, but we call upon you to always support your women. Thank you so much, families and friends. Those ones, of course, mothers would want all that emotional support. Though Claire just some of them away, but some other mothers, I'm sure they would want also the help. Always be there, support them. Emotionally, talk to them about different other things, so that can draw their minds away from what is happening at the moment. Go there, go check up on them, call them, and this is a hard struggle. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Always keep commenting so that we can always know what to bring to you, our audience. Until next time.
Bye.